Hi, I'm Jason Inman. I like to read comics. That's why this week I decided to read all the DC New 52 comics that were published in the world. I'm going to give each of these a buy it, borrow it from a friend, or a skip it rating. But before I get to that, don't forget to go to majorspoilers.com, the comic book website where they know that you love comics, and we do too. And if you like all the videos that I do on my channel, why don't you go to patreon.com/Jawiin and help support the show? Maybe I'll give you a shout out. Now enough of this jibber jabber and self-promotion, let's get on to some reviews. All-Star Western number 34. Right from the very first page, Darwin Cook's art sets a tone for this final tale of Jonah Hex, well, final tale in the New 52 anyway, that really sets the final issue of All-Star Western into its final great sunset. This was a great title, and this was the title that never got a chance in DC, and it really should have. Palmiotti and Gray did an amazing job writing this tale, and you know what? A little bit of time travel hijinks, a little bit of gun foolery, and a really, really literal scene of sailing off into the sunset. This is a great book. If you've never read All-Star Western, I suggest you start back at the beginning and come all the way forward, because this is a Western tale that really deserves to be read. Buy it. AQUAMAN number 34. Aquaman fights a chimera fish man. They just basically do a lot of telepathic fights back and forth, fisty fights on the surface, and then eventually he kills him, sort of, and the guy's skin. Anyways, it's a big fish fight with Aquaman, which is probably the last thing that you need in this book, and that's why this book is a major skip it. Batman Superman number 13. So Batman and Superman have no memory of who they are, and they just appear on Earth. Superman appears naked in front of Catwoman, and Catwoman goes, meow, look at that super you-know-what. And Batman discovers that he has to fight the Scarecrow, and then that he's a billionaire, and that being a billionaire is kind of cool. It's an interesting concept with some great art by Jay Lee and great writing by Greg Pak that makes you actually see somehow how these characters can be themselves without any of their previous memories. This is a definite buy it. Batman Eternal number 21. Have you ever heard of the double cross? A switch that you never saw coming. Like right where you're reading a story and you think that it's all about this man or this guy or this woman or this thing, and then suddenly it slaps you across the face and moves over here. Well, that's what this issue of Batman Eternal is. And that's why I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I have been very underwhelmed by this book in the previous 20 issues, but this issue really knocks it out of the park, gives me a good mystery that I want to sink my teeth into, has great art, and it's a lot about Alfred. So this is a definite buy it. Catwoman number 34. So Catwoman and Steampunk Girl fight a robot cat and Red Sonja. I am really glad this book is getting a soft relaunch in a couple months. Skip it. Harley Quinn number 10. Roller derby, skinny dipping, and more nonsense. Unless you are the world's biggest Harley Quinn fan and a big fan of her sort of hooker Harley outfit, skip this book. Justice League Dark number 34. A nice little tale about Nanda Parbat and Deadman's unique connection to the place, where you get to learn a little bit that somehow he journeyed there when he was a child and he becomes alive, then he becomes dead again. John Constantine gets to be an ass. Swamp Thing uses magical power, and I like Swamp Thing and Justice League Dark. So writers of DC, keep Swamp Thing and Justice League Dark. That's really cool. Swamp Thing gets to turn into this weird planty fishy creature thing. This is just a really weird tale. But you know what? It's a really weird, fun tale, and it's definitely worth the price of admission. Buy this book. Red Lanterns number 34. Charles Soule did the impossible with this book by convincing me in this issue why there should even be a Red Lanterns book. But you know what? He did it by writing what should have been the final issue of Red Lanterns. Guy Gardner, battle royale with Atrocitus, and Guy Gardner takes off his ring in a powerful scene and proves that he deserves a Red Lantern ring more than anybody else in the universe, even beating Atrocitus. It's a great moment. It's a great piece of dialogue. Guy gets a line that I think will be remembered for quite a while. Read the book to find out. And Dexter, the kitty, gets smashed. Oh, this is a buy it. Secret Origins number 5. If you don't know the origins of Cyborg, Mara, or the Red Hood, then you should probably read this book. It's not half bad. Otherwise, I would say stay away, but you know, probably borrow from a friend. Sinestro number 5. Sinestro can now master the parallax creature, you know, the entity of fear, and it comes bursting out of his chest and he treats it like a dog in front of Hal Jordan, which the entire issue is basically a conversation between Sinestro and Hal Jordan, which makes me wonder again, why does this title even exist? Shouldn't this scene have taken place in the Green Lantern main books, not this little Sinestro title that seems to be nothing but a conversation and talking with Sinestro that no one really quite cares about when you have to look at the story. There's some characters that you should only see every once in a while. When you see them every issue in every scene, they become less special, or they become like asses, you know, especially like a character like Sinestro. You can look at Sinestro and you get to see his motivations and you're just like, this guy is kind of an ass. And I don't know if I want to read The Adventures of an Ass. So that's why I say Sinestro is a skip it. Star Spangled War Stories #2. If you want to see a zombie soldier riding a rocket, then this is the book for you. Actually buy it. Superman #34. The Ulysses story continues as Jeff John and John Romita Jr. continue this epic tale. Ulysses meets his parents, then him and Clark hang out because Ulysses creepily stalked on Clark while he was sleeping, which is a little weird, very weird scene. And then they meet this villain called the Machinist, and Ulysses accidentally kills the Machinist, and you take off his we get a great Scooby-Doo moment when the hood comes off, and you find out that the Machinist is actually an innocent person. So Ulysses has committed murder. And here's my problem with the book. Does every Superman story now in the New 52 or in DC or anywhere have to deal with the murder of somebody? We got the murder in Man of Steel, spoilers. We got the murder in Trinity War. Why do all these Superman stories have to deal with murder now? I don't like it. It doesn't have to be that way. Why does it have to be that way? You can still tell a great story with Superman and Ulysses and their comparative stories, you know, and how they are similar, how they're not similar. The Machinist, I like his design. John Romita Jr.'s art's great. He looks like a cool villain. Seems like a really cool... I like the idea that he's building machines to fight Superman, because then he can show the video footage to people and be like, look, this machine lasted 5 minutes with Superman. It's $1 million per minute. Boom. But we have to do the murder thing again? Really? That's the only part of this that turns me off. But otherwise, this is a great book, and this is a great Superman book. It's really good. Buy it. The Flash #34. I love the way Brett Booth draws the Flash. I just hate the way the writers treat Wally West like a cliche. He's a troubled teen, and he won't get along with Barry, and he has a relative in prison who needs to set him straight. Snooze. And skip it. The New 52 features in #17. Now, this is a book with a lot of problems, but this book's main strength is when it deals with the DCU, like the DC. I mean, it's called the New 52, for God's sake. Futures in. Let's deal with the DC universe. So this book is a lot of Superman. It's a lot of Superman. We finally get to learn who is behind the mask of Superman in this book. I will not spoil it, but I will say it's pretty lightning terrific. And you get to see how Lois reacts to this. And you also get to see John Constantine do some magic-y things and maybe see where the real Superman is. Because spoilers, folks, it's not Superman underneath that mask. Superman's somewhere else. It's somebody else. And I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this. I'm intrigued by the mystery. Also, little cool, it's probably Jeff Lemire that's written that scene. We get to see Miko, who is Green Lantern's sister from the Jeff Lemire run, and Andy Diggle show up. And that's, or John Diggle, not Andy Diggle. Andy Diggle's the writer. John Diggle show up. And that's really cool, like, because you're playing on these you're pulling these little strings from DC, like, oh, hey, remember this character? Here he is. Remember this character? Here he is. That's cool stuff, and that's what makes this book work. It's all the future machine death that doesn't make this book work. You know, so you know what? This issue, which actually has a beautiful cover, is a buy it. And that's all the DC New 52 comic books that were published on August 27th. As always, go to Majorspoilers.com, the comic website where they know that you love reviews, and we do too. Read all their podcasts and listen to all their articles. And also, the Red Shirt Diaries premieres September 1st on this channel and every Monday throughout September, October, and the first week of November. 10-part web series. It's a first for the channel, and it's about Star Trek. Go watch it. You can also find it on theredshirtdiaries.com. It's going to be funny. You're going to love it. I play Captain Kirk. That's why I'm clean shaven. Whoa! Yeah. Always let me know in the comments what you thought about these review videos, whether you like them, hate them, love them, don't like the shirt that I'm wearing, tell me to grow my beard back, whatever. And also, don't forget, I have a Patreon now. Go to patreon.com/Jawiin. Help me make some more videos for you. Get some exclusive stuff right there on the website. Thank you all for watching. I internet love all of you. Be seeing you.
Have you just been wandering around and changing shirts for 5 minutes?
Ensign, did you just see me?
You were literally just here.
If you were me, Ensign, and you were hiding aboard the Starship Enterprise,